All right, pay attention, everyone, because new polls are out in key states ahead of next week's Senate Democratic presidential debate. That as Joe Biden is signaling that the gloves are off as he prepares to go up against Kamala Harris and Cory Booker. Joining me now to discuss Joe Trippi, Angela Rye, and Tara Setmayer. Angela, why aren't you here in D.C.? Everybody's here in D.C., and you're off in La La Land in LA.
I didn't get the invite. I've been working with my godson, spending a lot of time with my godson.
Well,
so
good. Well, I hope to see you in person soon. So let's talk about this.
Too.
Good evening. Hello, everyone. Tara, this new poll out in Ohio may strengthen Joe Biden's case heading into the debate. Let's put it up. And a head-to-head matchup, Biden is the only candidate that clearly beats Trump. The others show no clear leader in the matchup against Trump. Give me your reaction.
Well, obviously, as someone who's supporting Joe Biden, I'm happy about this. And it goes to the argument that he really is the only person out of the field right now that can connect with the voters that the Democrats need to win back in order to win the White House in 2020. Ohio, Michigan, Pennsylvania. Joe Biden has consistently polled well there because those are the people he speaks to the most, and those are the people that Democrats lost. That Obama coalition, they lost those folks, which allowed Donald Trump to win. So I'm glad to see that, and he's got to have another strong performance. Well, he has to have a strong performance, not one like he had last time in the debate coming up, and I suspect that it'll be a different.
So, Joe, the poll also showed that in this matchup between Trump and Biden, independents break for Biden by a wide margin as well. There it is. How strong of a case do these numbers make for Biden to be the nominee?
Well, I mean, we're
it's
a
early.
way off.
Yes, it's early.
Things are going to change.
I mean, right now in this time.
But Biden is doing two things. One, he still continues to lead with African Americans with the black vote. That's a big deal in our party. And then at the same time, to be able to do that and still maintain this lead with independents, that when you see this, and he's doing it better than with Republicans than everybody else in the field, that's a prescription for winning in November. That's the case he's going to keep making, and that's why he's going to have a target on his back in the debates.
Angela, a new poll out in South Carolina shows that Biden, way ahead of with African American voters there, he has a 51% and a 39% edge over Senator Harris. I mean, he maintains a very, very solid lead there, which so far, it's been durable. Do you agree with that?
I think that it is really far out to echo Joe. I think the reality is Joe Biden spent 2 terms with the first black president who has sky-high approval ratings, not just with black voters, but with voters across the country, especially now, in case you missed it. So when you think about Joe Biden and how he's performing, of course he's going to do very well. A lot of these folks don't even know who Kamala Harris is yet. And I think that they'll soon be surprised. She's wonderful. She's great. This is going to be a competitive Democratic primary. And again, we're not even at the second debate yet, Don, of which you're co-hosting.
That is all true. Did you want to say something?
Well, I wanted to say something. Coming up with a debate, I think it needs that Biden and Booker, Harris and Booker, need to be careful not to keep honing in on racial issues from 40 years ago or things that happened all these years ago, because you do not want to depress the black vote.
Well, let me just say this, and then hold on.
With that.
Let me say, hold on.
Because
just, you guys after this,
about that.
because this whole thing about Biden changing his tone. This is a senior campaign official telling CNN, quote, and then I'll let you guys hash it out. He isn't going to take hits from any of the candidates sitting down. He won't personally attack anyone, but he will be very clear about the contrast between he and the other candidates in this race. Discuss.
Right. And the reason why I'm saying this is because Joe Biden was his commitment to civil rights and his commitment to issues that affect the black community have never been in question when he was asked to be the vice president of the United States for 8 years under Barack Obama. It wasn't a problem then. It wasn't a problem when Senator Harris asked him to come introduce her at the California Convention. It wasn't a problem for the Democrats when he was asked to go to 24 states and campaign for 65 candidates during the midterm elections. So now all of a sudden he's someone who's out of touch. Democrats want. I think that's the wrong tactic for the Democrats.
All right, go ahead, Angela.
And I definitely appreciate you, Tara, saying that. But I think the reality of it is times have changed. We have been through a hell of a lot since 2008. And so what you're seeing is there's a new cadre of black voters who now, maybe some of them are voting for the first time, and they're saying, listen, there's some issues that didn't matter to y'all that matter to me now. The very people who were locked up under the crime bill in 1992, not just at the feet of Joe Biden, but certainly one of the leaders at the forefront of it, were my parents, was my uncle, was my aunt, was my big brother, was my big sister. And these are things that we care about, and it's top of mind. Wages are at the top of mind. And so Joe Biden is going to have to make a case, but it absolutely is a different ballgame than it was in 2008, in 2012, in 2016.
But he's
and even
acknowledged
2018.
his mistake. But he acknowledged his mistakes with that.
But that
He put out
doesn't
a
mean
new
that
criminal
it's
justice plan.
sufficient.
So why
to
are we
hold him
hammering things that
accountable?
happened 20 and 40 and 30 years
Because
ago?
they never had a voice, Tara. They're first-time voters.
Okay,
That's why.
great.
Times
And
have
Joe
changed.
Biden is going to
But
have the
this is
opportunity to show what the future's going to be
Exactly.
instead of talking about
He's
This is
gonna have to
actually
defend
the
it.
split
He's
that
gonna
you're
have to
seeing in
defend
the
it.
African American community, though. It's a generational
It's
divide.
not just in the African American community.
No, there's a
generational,
generational divide in the party for sure, writ large, for
Yeah.
sure. But you're also seeing it in the African American community, where Joe Biden, the voters that have lived through life with him, grew up with him, saw him make his mistakes, saw him become vice president to Barack Obama. He's got a lot of goodwill with those people. And I agree that then when you get down into the generation that be voting for the first time, or the younger generation across the board, they're not really, they're up for grabs, and Joe Biden needs to win them as well.
I'm out of time.